Hey, what you writing there? Poetry, huh? Let me see. I sing the body electric, literally. Nerves abuzz with charmed quark passion. My heart a tireless steel piston. My dreams a positronic trance. It's really... Hey, speaking of poetry. Dear Tim and Moby, who was Pablo Neruda? From Hansel.
Si Pablo Neruda is one of the most influential and widely read 20th century poets of the Americas. And he also a Nobel Prize winning Chilean poet who has once called the greatest poet of the 20th century in any language.
Can you tell me more about Pablo Neruda?
Pablo Neruda was born Ricardo Alisir Neftali Reyes Basualto in the Chilean town of Paral in 1904. His father worked for the railroad and his mother was a teacher who died shortly after his birth. At age 13, he began his literacy career, the Daily La Mañana, where he published his first article and poems in 1920. He contributed to the literacy journal Selva Austral under the pen name Pablo Neruda, which he assumed in honor of Zig poet.
How about in diplomatic career?
Doon naman tayo sa kanyang diplomatic career, which is noong 1927, Neruda began his long diplomatic career and he moved frequently around the world in 1936. Over the next 10 years, Neruda would leave and return to Chile several times. Along the way, si Neruda is tumakbo bilang senator, then nanalo siya sa eleksyon na yon. And for the next 21 years, Pablo Neruda continued to write prodigiously, rising in the rank of 20th century poet. He also received numerous prestigious awards, including the International Peace Prize in 1950, the Lenin Peace Prize and the Stalin Peace Prize in 1953, and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971.
Ano naman po dahilan ng pagkamatay niya?
After 2 years, namatay si Neruda when he receiving his Nobel Prize on September 23, 1973 in Santiago, Chile. So, sinasabi nila doon na ang pagkamatay niya is prostate cancer. Then, there have been allegations that the poet was poisoned. And in 2011, inopen ulit nila yung kaso ng pagkamatay ni Neruda na sinasabi nilang in-injectionan siya at a clinic by a physician that worsened his health. Kaya yun yung sinasabi nilang pagkamatay niya. However, in January 2015, the Chilean government reopened the investigation with new forensic testing.
How about po sa poetry?
Tumungo naman tayo sa kanyang mga poems. And some of Neruda's early poems are found in his first book, Crepusculario. Published ito noong 1923 and one of his most renewed works, 20 Poemas de Amore Uno Canciones Desperada, was published the following year. 20 love poems made Neruda's and he thereafter devoted himself to verse. Meron siyang 5 most famous poems, which are Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Lines, Don't Be Far Off, When I Die, Die Slowly, Here I Love You. Then, ang napunta sa aking topic is yung Horses by Pablo Neruda.
Pwede po bang parinig ng poem?
Meow, meow, meow. Horses by Pablo Neruda. From the window, I saw the horses. I was in Berlin in winter. The light was without light, the sky without sky, the air white like wet bread. And from the window, a vacant arena, bitten by the teeth of winter, Suddenly led by a man, 10 horses stepped out into the mist. Hardly they had surged forth like flame, then to my eyes they filled the whole world, empty till then. Perfect, ablaze, they were like 10 gods with wide pure hooves, with manes like a dream of salt. Their rumps were worlds and oranges, their color was honey, amber, fire. Their necks were towers cut from the stone of pride, and behind their transparent eyes, energy raged like a prisoner. There, in the silence, in the middle of the day of the dark, slovenly winter, the horses were blood and rhythm, the animating treasure of life. I looked and looked, and I was reborn. Without knowing it, there was the fountain, the dance of gold, the sky, the fire that revived in beauty. I have forgotten that dark Berlin winter. I will not forget the light of the horses.
Ano pong themes ng poem?
Ang themes ng horses is hope, light, and darkness.
How about structure and form?
Sa structure and form naman tayo, which is meron siyang 29-line poem that is divided into stanzas ranging from 1 line to 5 lines in length.
Ano naman pong literacy device niya?
Then sa literacy device naman, Neruda makes use of several literacy devices in horses. These include but are not limited to example of caesura, alliteration, and enjambment.
Can you analyze every lines of poem? In the first lines, help to create the feelings of rhythm between the lines. It made clear in the next lines through Neruda's creative manipulation of language. The last phrase is suggestive of something deeper and darker than a simple lack of light. In the fourth line is a wonderful example of how imagery can be used to help the reader imagine a scene and speaker experience. In the following lines, the poet uses more examples of figurative language to describe the scene around him. Neruda uses simile after simile and metaphor to depict these powerful animals and their striking contrast against a drab winter backdrop. The next lines are spent depicting the horses in greater detail. He uses a simple compare the animals and their energy to that of a prisoner longing to break free. The horses represented something completely at odds with the life of speaker was living at the time. In the poem Horses by Pablo Neruda, someone who lives in a depressing world suddenly changed after witnessing the incredible event that inspired him to alternate his perspective of the world. Beautiful experience inspired individual to transcend the bland monotony of an unexamined life.